You have arrived at a coordinate in time and space that was never guaranteed for you. In fact, if we look at the statistical probability of human existence, you weren't supposed to be here. Most of the human population lives out their entire biological cycle: birth, survival, reproduction, death, without ever even grazing the edge of this territory. They live within a fenced enclosure of perception, never realizing that the fence is made of smoke. They live, they struggle, and they die without ever crossing the threshold, without ever stepping through the invisible boundary that separates the passive observers of reality from the active architects of it. But you did something different. You broke the protocol. You crossed the line. And now that you are standing on this side of the veil, there is a certain gravity you must accept. There is no pretending you don't know what you now know. You cannot put the toothpaste back in the tube. You cannot unsee the strings that move the puppets. You have accessed a level of awareness that acts like a one-way door. Once you walk through, the lock clicks behind you. So let's have an honest conversation about what happens when you cross that forbidden line. The first thing you need to shatter is the illusion that spiritual awakening or quantum realization means your life suddenly becomes a walk in the park. It does not. The world doesn't suddenly bow down and hand you everything you desire on a silver platter just because you realized you exist. The challenges do not evaporate. The traffic does not magically clear. What changes is something far more fundamental, far more structural. You stop being the person life happens to, and you become the vessel life responds through. Read that again. Feel the shift in weight. That distinction, that tiny microscopic shift in perception is everything. It is the difference between being a chess piece and being the hand that moves the piece. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. The tragedy of the modern human condition is waiting. Most people go their whole lives waiting for the big bang moment. They are waiting for the lightning strike of revelation, the cosmic download that rewrites their history in a split second. They are looking for their awakening to arrive like a hurricane, loud, undeniable, sweeping away the old debris and replacing it with a shiny new palace of perfection. They want the cinematic climax. But that is not how the mechanics of consciousness work. That is never how it works. The transformation you are experiencing right now, the one that guided you to this very message, doesn't announce itself with trumpets and fanfare. It recalibrates quietly. It operates in the silence between your thoughts. It is a stealth operation. It adjusts the lens through which you see everything so subtly that you might not even notice it at first. It's like the focus ring on a camera lens turning just 1 millimeter. The scene hasn't changed, but suddenly, the blur is gone. Suddenly you see the texture of reality. You are no longer passively watching your life unfold like a movie you fell asleep during. You have become an active participant, a conscious witness to the unfolding. And that shift, as small as it seems, changes the entire game. Think about the implications of this. How long have you been living on autopilot? How many years did you spend reacting to circumstances, bouncing off the walls of your own life like a pinball? How many decades did you spend responding to triggers, moving through the density of existence as though you were a background character in someone else's story? That version of you, the sleeper, the reactor, the victim, still exists in the vast majority of the people you see on the street. Look at them with compassion, but see them clearly. They are still reacting. They are still waiting. They are still hoping that external conditions, the economy, the government, their boss, their spouse, will finally align perfectly to give them permission to feel the way they want to feel. They are outsourcing their internal state to a chaotic world. But you have stepped past that. You have graduated from that school. You have crossed into a territory where you understand something most will never grasp. You have realized that reality is not a solid thing. It is a fluid response system. To understand this is to begin the process of deprogramming yourself from the collective hallucination. The collective belief is that you are small and the world is big. The collective belief is that you are the effect and the world is the cause. But you have found the inversion code. You are waking up to the fact that the cause is within. The silence we speak of is not just the absence of noise, it is the presence of signal. How do you move from intellectual understanding to lived experience? It begins with something most people underestimate: silence. Not the silence of an empty room. You can sit in an empty room and have a war zone in your head. I am talking about the silence of a quiet mind, because here is what no one tells you about the chatter in your skull. The noise in your head isn't just distraction. It is interference. It is static in the signal. Every repetitive thought loop, every mental spiral about the past, every internal argument you have with a ghost, every worry about a future that hasn't happened, it is all creating energetic static that blocks your ability to perceive the truth of what's actually happening. It is like trying to tune into a clear radio station while a jackhammer is running next to the receiver. When you learn to quiet that noise, even for a few moments, something extraordinary occurs. The static clears, and in that clarity, you start to notice the threads. You see the invisible connections between events that seemed unrelated. You see the geometric patterns that have been playing out in your life for years, hidden beneath the surface chaos. You begin to see that nothing is random. Everything is connected, and the connecting force, the gravity holding it all together, is you. It is your frequency. It is your inner state. It is the unspoken beliefs you carry in your body like software code running in the background. This is the awakening. It is not a flash of light. It is the quiet, terrifying, liberating realization that you have been the operator of the machine the entire time. We must now deconstruct the mechanism of your reality. If you do not understand the mechanics, you cannot operate the machine. You will remain a passenger in a vehicle you were designed to drive. The fundamental truth they don't want you to know, the truth that disrupts every system of control, is this: the world is not a random collection of events happening to you. It is not a chaotic roll of the dice with occasional moments of order. It is a feedback system. It is a relentless, high-fidelity mirror. Every single thing showing up in your external experience is a direct, mathematical response to the frequency you are broadcasting from within. Stop and let that settle. This is not a metaphor. This is quantum mechanics applied to consciousness. You are a broadcasting tower. You are emitting a signal 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And reality is simply the field organizing itself around that signal. The moment you truly understand this, the concept of being a victim to circumstance dissolves completely. You cannot be a victim of a reflection. You cannot be at the mercy of reality. You are in a constant dynamic conversation with it. But let's go deeper, because understanding this intellectually is the booby trap. It is the false summit where most seekers die. Embodying it is something else entirely, and that's where most people get stuck. They hear this truth, they read the books, they watch the videos, and they nod along. They say, "Yes, I create my reality. I know that. I am the creator." But knowing it and living it are worlds apart. You can know that thoughts shape experience and still spend every single day thinking the same fearful, limiting, toxic thoughts you've been thinking for 20 years. You can know that emotions are energy in motion and still let anxiety run your nervous system like a puppet master. Knowing is not enough. Knowing is just the map. Embodiment is the territory. Embodiment is the bridge. So how do we cross that bridge? How do we move from the library of the mind to the laboratory of the body? We have to look at the patterns. This is where it gets interesting, and this is where it gets uncomfortable. Once you see the threads, once you recognize the patterns, you lose the luxury of blaming external circumstances. You can't point fingers anymore. You start to realize that the obstacles you've been facing aren't punishments from a vengeful universe. They are not bad luck. They are feedback. They are diagnostics. Your external reality is showing you in high definition exactly what is happening inside your subconscious mind, the parts of you that you haven't resolved yet. Let me give you a concrete example. Say you keep running into the same type of conflict in your relationships. Different people, different settings, different years, but the same core dynamic plays out again and again. The betrayal, the abandonment, the misunderstanding. It loops. Most people look at that and say, "Why does this keep happening to me?" They play the victim card, but that is the wrong question. That question disempowers you instantly. The right question, the question of the master, is, what part of me is emitting the frequency that calls this pattern in? Because that pattern isn't being done to you, it is being reflected to you. It is a mirror showing you an unresolved belief, an unconscious wound, a frequency you're broadcasting without even realizing it. And here creates illustrates the beautiful, challenging truth. The moment you stop trying to fix the people around you and start changing the signal you're sending, everything shifts. Not because the world magically bends to your ego's will, but because you are no longer in vibrational alignment with that old pattern. You've changed the channel, and when you change the channel, the old show cannot play. Different experiences become available to you. Think of it like this. This is the most powerful analogy you can use to deprogram yourself. You are not standing in front of a screen watching a movie you have no control over. You are not the audience. You are the projector. The film is running through you. The light is shining through you. The images you see on the screen of reality are being cast from within. Your beliefs are the script. Your emotions are the lighting. Your thoughts are the director's commentary running in the background. Here is the madness of the human condition. We look at the screen, we see a scene we don't like, maybe a scene of poverty or conflict or loneliness, and we run up to the screen and start shouting at it. We try to scrub the screen, we analyze the screen, we critique the screen, but nothing will change until you go back to the projection booth and change the film inside the projector. This is the part where most people resist. They hate this part because changing the film means admitting that you've been playing the same one over and over. It means taking responsibility not for what happened to you. We are not dismissing trauma, but taking responsibility for how you've been interpreting it, storing it, and replaying it in your nervous system. And that is uncomfortable. It burns. It is easier to believe you're powerless. It is easier to blame circumstances, other people, bad timing, the economy, or your parents. Blame feels like a shield, but ease is not the same as truth. And you didn't cross the forbidden line to stay comfortable. You didn't come here to sleep in a warm nest of lies. You crossed the line to become free, and freedom requires you to hold the projector. So let's talk about frequency. And I want to be very careful here because this word has been hijacked. It has been diluted by pop spirituality until it sounds like a greeting card slogan. But I am not talking about frequency in some abstract, mystical, good vibes only sense. I am talking about physics. I am talking about a practical, embodied, measurable state of being. Your frequency is the sum total of your internal state at any given microsecond. It is the complex algorithm of your thoughts, your emotions, your subconscious beliefs, and the bioelectrical energy those things generate within your nervous system. It is the hum of your engine. And here is the mechanic that changes everything. That frequency acts as a filter. It acts as a lens. It doesn't just attract experiences to you like a magnet pulling iron filings. It determines what you are capable of perceiving in the first place. This is a crucial distinction. It determines your reality bandwidth. When you are operating from a low frequency, let's call it the frequency of fear or scarcity, your nervous system physically goes into threat mode. Your biological aperture closes. Your perception literally narrows. This is a survival mechanism. When a tiger is chasing you, you don't need to see the beautiful sunset or the opportunity for a new business. You need to see the escape route. So, when you are in fear, you see fewer options. You miss the exit ramps. You miss the opportunities that are standing right in front of your face because your reticular activating system is scanning for danger, not possibility. Fear doesn't just feel bad, it blinds you. It closes the aperture of your awareness until all you can see is what's wrong, what's missing, what's broken, and what catastrophic thing might happen next. And when that is all you can see, that is all you experience, you become trapped in a loop of confirmation bias. You think, see, the world is terrible, but it's not that the world is only terrible. It's that you are physically incapable of perceiving the good from that state. But watch what happens when you shift. When you raise your frequency, even slightly, even just from despair to neutrality, the lens opens, the aperture expands. Suddenly the data stream changes. You notice the synchronicities. You see the invisible threads. You spot the opportunities that were always there, hovering in the background, but were invisible to your fear-based vision. The people who hold the keys to your next level show up at exactly the right time. The solutions to problems that seemed impossible suddenly appear out of thin air. Did the external reality change? No. The solution was always there. You changed. Your capacity to perceive expanded. You upgraded your receiver, and with that upgrade, your experience of reality transformed completely. This is why people who do the deep, gritty inner work often say their life changed overnight. It didn't. That is an illusion. The world didn't rearrange itself for them as a favor. They rearranged their inner world. They cleared the static from the lens. As a result, they became capable of seeing and receiving what was always available. They changed the channel. They aligned their inner frequency with the reality they wanted to inhabit, and reality met them there. It always meets you there. But we need to get even more precise about how you navigate this. You have to stop looking at your emotions as these passive weather patterns that just happen to you. Your emotions are not just feelings. They are data. They are sophisticated feedback signals from your nervous system telling you in real time what frequency you are currently tuned to. They are the gauges on the dashboard of your consciousness, and your beliefs, the stories you tell yourself about who you are, about money, about love, about how the world works. Those are the operating system. They are the Windows or the iOS running in the background. Together, your beliefs and your emotions create the program that your reality is running on. If you don't like the output on the screen, you need to change the code. Most people, the sleepers, try to change their external reality by force. They push harder, they grind, they try to control every variable. They manipulate circumstances, trying to bend the world into the shape they want with brute strength. And it is exhausting. It is soul-crushing. Why? Because they are trying to change the screen without changing the film. They are trying to override the output without addressing the input. You might force a temporary shift. You might grit your teeth and make $1 million or get the partner. But if the internal program hasn't changed, the old pattern will reassert itself. You will lose the money. You will sabotage the relationship. The default frequency will pull you back like gravity. True transformation, the kind that lasts, the kind that feels like freedom, happens when you stop fighting the external and start reprogramming the internal. It happens when you treat your emotions as feedback instead of facts. It happens when you recognize your beliefs as software you can update, not truth carved in stone. It happens when you understand that the signal you are broadcasting from within is the primary variable in what shows up without. Once you get this, once you really, truly embody this in your cells, the concept of luck dissolves. Coincidence becomes a laughable idea. You see that life isn't happening randomly. It is reflecting your frequency back to you with perfect, ruthless precision. The universe isn't punishing you. It isn't rewarding you. It is mirroring you. And when you change what you are reflecting inward, what gets reflected outward changes in response. That is the law. That is the mechanics of the game. So we have established the theory, but theory without practice is just intellectual vanity. How do we move this from the head to the body? How do we move from understanding to embodiment? The systems of control rely on you staying in your head, disconnected from your power source. To reclaim your sovereignty, you must descend into the body. You start small. You start with awareness. You begin to notice the frequency you are operating from moment to moment. You become a watcher of your own state. You ask yourself, what am I broadcasting right now? What signal is my nervous system sending out into the quantum field? And you do this without judgment. This is critical. You do not shame yourself for being in fear or contraction. You simply observe. You witness. Observation is the first step in transformation. Then you practice shifting, not through force, but through choice. You notice when you are in a low frequency state. Maybe you're stuck in traffic and feeling rage. Maybe you're looking at a bill and feeling panic. Instead of resisting it or trying to fix it immediately, you breathe into it. You let it be there. You create space around it. And then gently, you choose a different thought. You choose a different focus. You choose a different interpretation. You don't try to leap from panic to ecstasy. That's too big a jump. You just take one step up the frequency ladder, from fear to neutrality, from frustration to curiosity, from contraction to a little bit of openness. Small shifts compound, they build momentum, and over time, your baseline frequency rises. When your baseline rises, life stops being a fight. Transformation stops being a struggle. It stops being something you have to force. It becomes a flow state because you are no longer trying to drag yourself into a reality that doesn't match your inner vibration. You've aligned the two. Your inner state matches the reality you want to inhabit, and when that alignment happens, life starts to feel effortless. Not because there are no challenges, but because you are no longer energetically resisting the flow of your own experience. This is the shift from effort to alignment, from forcing to allowing. from pushing against reality to moving with it, and it is available to you right now. You don't need to wait until you are healed. You don't need to wait until you are perfect. You have always had this capacity. You have always been the projector, not the screen. You have always been in conversation with reality, not at its mercy. But let's talk about the hardware. Let's talk about the body. You need to understand how to work with your internal state in real time. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where transformation moves from a cool concept to a lived experience. Start by understanding that your body is always communicating with you. It is your biofeedback device. It is always sending signals about your current frequency, your current state. But most people have become so disconnected from their body that they miss these signals entirely. They live in their heads, lost in the matrix of thought, and their body becomes just the vehicle that carries their brain around from meeting to meeting. But your body is not separate from your consciousness. It is the instrument through which consciousness expresses itself in physical form, and it is constantly giving you feedback. When you feel tension in your chest, that is not random. When your stomach tightens, when your jaw clenches, when your shoulders rise toward your ears, these are not meaningless physical sensations. They are your body's way of screaming, "Hey, we have dropped into a fear frequency. We are in survival mode." The signal we are broadcasting right now is one of threat and contraction. When you learn to read these signals, when you develop the capacity to feel them as they arise, you gain a superpower, the ability to shift them before they solidify into your external reality. Most people don't catch the signal until it's already manifested as a full-blown external crisis. They wait until the argument has already destroyed the night. They wait until the opportunity has already been missed. They wait until the pattern has repeated for the 100th time. But by then, it's too late to intercept. The frequency has already been broadcast. The reflection has already begun its journey back to you. But when you learn to catch the signal at the level of sensation, at the level of the body, you can shift it before it ever leaves you. You can choose a different frequency before the old one fully activates. This is the power of somatic awareness. It is the power of being present in your body, not just your mind, because your mind will lie to you. It is a master storyteller. It will rationalize your anger. It will justify your victimhood. It will tell you elaborate stories about why you should be afraid, why you should be defensive, why you should stay contracted. But your body doesn't lie. It tells you exactly what frequency you are in. It is the ultimate truth teller, and when you learn to listen to it, you gain access to real-time feedback about the signal you are broadcasting into the quantum field. We are now going to touch on a practice that separates the novices from the masters. This is the how that everyone asks for. If you are ready to move beyond theory into full embodiment, this is the gateway. Here is the practice. You can do it right now as you listen to my voice. Scan your body. Do not think about your body. Feel your body. Drop your awareness out of your cranium and into your torso. Where is the tension? Where is the tightness? Where is the flow restricted? Maybe it's a knot in your solar plexus. Maybe it's a band of iron around your heart. Maybe it's a clenched jaw. Don't judge what you find. Do not label it bad. Just notice. That noticing, that simple act of witnessing without commentary, is the beginning of molecular change. That witnessing is the first step in choosing a different timeline. Once you have located the sensation, here is the counterintuitive move. Do not try to make it go away. Do not try to force it out. Instead, breathe into it. Bring your consciousness right into the center of the discomfort. Acknowledge it without resistance. This is where most people fail. They feel fear and they instantly push against it. They say, "I shouldn't feel this. Go away." But here is the physics of consciousness. Resistance locks frequency in place. When you resist a low-frequency state, when you judge it, when you fight it, you are actually feeding it. You are amplifying it. You are adding your own energy to the knot. You are signaling to your nervous system, this feeling is important. This feeling is a threat. Keep it here. But when you flip the script, when you allow it, magic happens. When you say, "Yes, I feel this fear. I see you. You are allowed to be here," something miraculous occurs. The charge begins to dissipate. The frequency loosens its grip. The knot begins to untie itself. You are not escaping the low frequency. You are metabolizing it. You are letting the energy move through you like a weather front, instead of building a dam that keeps the storm trapped inside your body. This is the difference between suppression and transformation. Suppression says, "I hate this feeling." Make it stop. Transformation says, I feel this. It is here, and I can choose to move with it instead of against it. One keeps you stuck in a loop of suffering. The other sets you free. As you practice this art of allowance, as you develop the capacity to witness your internal state without flinching, your external reality begins to stabilize. The chaos settles down. The patterns that used to repeat endlessly start to dissolve. Not because you fixed the world, but because you stopped broadcasting the distress signal that called the chaos in. You changed the signal at the source. This is what it means to take responsibility. Not for what happened to you in the past. The past is a ghost, a memory trace stored in your neurons, and not for the future. The future hasn't happened yet. It is just a cloud of potential waiting for your signal to collapse it into form. You take responsibility for this moment, because this is the only moment that matters. The only frequency that counts is the one you are emitting right now. When you truly grasp this, when you feel it in your bones, the pressure to have everything figured out evaporates. You don't need a perfect 5-year strategy. You just need to be conscious of your frequency in this breath, and then the next, and then the next. But be warned, this path is not a straight line. It is a spiral. This is the deeper layer where most people give up. They have an initial awakening. They feel a shift and they think, I'm done. I've arrived. And then, a month later, the old pattern shows up again and they crash. They think they failed. They didn't fail. They are spiraling. You are peeling back layers of an onion. Most of you are living from frequencies you inherited from your parents, from your culture, from your early childhood environment. These programs were installed in your hard drive before you had the capacity to consent to them. You might have inherited a frequency of scarcity from a father who lived through a recession. You might be carrying a frequency of unworthiness from a mother who felt abandoned. You might be broadcasting a signal of hypervigilance because you grew up in a house that felt unsafe. None of this is your fault, but it is your responsibility, because as long as these inherited frequencies run unconsciously, they will continue to shape your reality in ways you do not want. The work of transformation is the work of bringing these ancient unconscious programs into the light. It is the work of seeing them, thanking them for trying to protect you, and then gently, consciously releasing them to install a new code. So when the pattern shows up again, do not despair. You think you're going in circles, but you're not. You are meeting the same beast, but you are meeting it from a higher level of consciousness. You have more tools now. You have more awareness now. This is the nature of deep healing. It happens in layers. Each layer you clear brings you closer to the core, closer to your authentic frequency, the signal you came into this world with before the world covered it in static. As you peel back these layers, your relationship with problems changes fundamental. You stop seeing obstacles as enemies. You start seeing them as diagnostics. This shift in perception is everything. It is the master key. Most people encounter resistance, a blocked goal, a difficult person, a financial loss, and they immediately go into battle mode. They see the obstacle as a villain to be defeated. They spend all their energy trying to punch through the wall. But often, the obstacle isn't the problem. The obstacle is a symptom. Every persistent challenge you face, every struggle that won't resolve no matter how hard you hustle, is a red flag. It is a notification from the universe pointing you towards something unresolved inside your own field, an unconscious belief you are still feeding, a wound you haven't metabolized, a frequency you are still broadcasting. The mirror will keep showing you the reflection until you change what is being projected. So, instead of screaming, "Why is this happening to me?" the master asks, "What is this showing me about me?" That one question shifts you from victim to investigator. It shifts you from powerless to curious. And curiosity is a high-frequency state. Curiosity opens the door to insight, and insight is what dissolves the pattern. Let's apply this. Let's say you are struggling financially. No matter how hard you work, money seems to slip through your fingers like water. You make plans, but emergencies always drain your account. The sleeper says, "The economy is rigged. I have bad luck. My boss is cheap." These are surface explanations. They keep you stuck because they keep your focus external. The awakened investigator asks, what belief about money, about my own worthiness, about safety, am I carrying in my system that is creating this frequency of lack? When you go inward and find that belief, maybe the belief that money is evil or I don't deserve ease, you can finally shift it. You can rewrite the code. And when the internal code changes, the external output must change. This is the power of using reality as a diagnostic tool. It's not about pathologizing yourself, it's about clarity. Your life is constantly giving you feedback about your vibration. When you learn to read that feedback without ego, you gain a level of self-knowledge that makes you unstoppable. You stop being confused by your life. You start to see the logic of it. You see the coherence. But hear this clearly. This is not about blame. It is not about making yourself wrong for having unconscious beliefs. We all have them. They are the result of conditioning, survival mechanisms, and the trauma of living in a dense world. The point isn't to judge yourself. The point is to become aware so you can choose differently. That is where the real work begins. Not in reading about it, but in showing up every day and consciously choosing your frequency. In noticing when you have slipped into the old groove and gently with love, bringing yourself back to the center. This is the path of embodiment. It is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Because when you stop waiting for the world to change and start changing your internal condition first, when you stop trying to scrub the screen and start changing the film, when you align your frequency with the reality you want to live in, everything shifts. Not all at once, not in a Hollywood montage, but gradually, consistently, undeniably. You start to notice that life feels different. It feels easier. It feels more aligned. You realize that it's not because the world changed. It's because you did. You are no longer reacting to life. You are dancing with it. Situations that would have triggered you into a week-long spiral now bounce off you. People who used to push your buttons no longer have that power over you. You become stable. You become centered. Not because you are faking it, but because the internal frequency that was generating the reaction has been upgraded. This is true freedom. Freedom from being hijacked by your own automatic programming. Freedom to operate from your authentic frequency. And the more you operate from that core authenticity, the more your external reality begins to reflect it. The opportunities that show up start to match who you actually are, not who you were told to be. The people you attract resonate with your soul, not your wounds. The circumstances of your life start to feel like they fit you, like a tailored suit, because they are a match for the frequency you are broadcasting from your core. This is what it looks like to live as the signal. This is what it looks like to be in conscious conversation with the quantum field. This brings us to the most critical realization of all. The shift we are speaking of, this movement from passive receiver to active broadcaster, is available to you right now, not in 10 years, not after you have meditated for 10,000 hours, not when you are more spiritual or more healed. It is available in this breath. There is a trap in the self-help world that convinces you that you are a project to be completed. It tells you that you need to fix all your wounds, clear all your trauma, and perfect your personality before you are allowed to create your reality. That is a lie. That is a delay tactic. You do not need to be perfect to start living this way. You do not need to have every single pattern cleared. You just need to be willing. You need the willingness to see, to witness, and to take radical responsibility for your frequency in each passing moment. From that simple willingness, the entire universe begins to unfold in your favor. Understanding this changes the definition of transformation. The path is not about becoming someone you are not. It isn't about adding more layers to your personality. It is about subtraction. It is about removing everything that is standing in the way of who you already are. It is about clearing the static so the true signal can come through. Every moment you spend in conscious awareness of your frequency, every time you choose alignment instead of defaulting to an old, rusty reaction, you are clearing that static. You are engaged in a holy act of reclamation. You are coming home to yourself. And when you finally touch that authentic frequency, you realize something that might make you weep with relief. You were never broken. You were never wrong. You were never a failure. You were simply broadcasting from a frequency that wasn't yours. You were playing a station that was programmed into you by a fearful world. But now that you are aware of the mechanism, you can reach out and turn the dial. You can choose you. This is the truth you were never meant to learn. This is the forbidden knowledge. Why? Because this level of awareness makes you ungovernable. It makes you free. A population of free people, people who understand that they are the co-creators of reality, not the victims of it, is a threat to every system that relies on your fear and your powerlessness to function. A person who knows they generate their own validation cannot be sold things they don't need. A person who knows they source their own safety cannot be controlled by fear-mongering narratives. They don't teach this in schools. They don't discuss this on the evening news. They don't make it easy to find. The algorithms often bury it, but you found it anyway. You crossed the line, and now you know. So the final question stands before you like a monolith. What are you going to do with this? Are you going to let this video be just another interesting concept that you nod at and then forget as you scroll to the next dopamine hit? Are you going to let it remain an intellectual toy, or are you going to take it into your body? Are you going to take it into your job, your relationships, your quiet moments in the dark? Are you going to let it restructure the way you move through the world? That choice is yours. It is the only choice that truly matters. I want to invite you to solidify this shift right now. We are going to anchor this frequency in the physical realm. I want you to make a declaration. Drop one phrase in the comments below. This is not just a comment for the algorithm. This is a spell. This is an energetic signature sent directly into the quantum field. Write this. I am the signal, not the receiver. Say it out loud as you type it. Let the vibration of those words move through your vocal cords and into the room. I am the signal. When you do this, you are planting a flag. You're interrupting the old loop. You are announcing to the field that you are awake, you are aware, and you are actively taking command of your broadcast. And consider this. When you share these concepts, you are not just passing along information. You are creating an energetic ripple. You are reinforcing your own understanding. You are activating synchronicities for others. You are contributing to a collective awakening. The act of sharing amplifies your own frequency. It signals to the universe that you are a conduit for this truth. So, if this message resonated with you, if you felt a shift in your chest, do not let it end here. Watch this again tomorrow morning. Let these principles settle into your nervous system through the power of repetition. And if you are ready to expand your consciousness and step into your next quantum leap, subscribe now. Leave a comment below and share this message with someone ready to awaken. Subscribe not just to stay updated, but to stay coherent. Subscribe to keep yourself anchored in this high-frequency field as you navigate a world that is constantly trying to pull you back into the sleep of unconsciousness. The more of us who hold this frequency, the more the collective field shifts. You crossed the line. You learned what you were not supposed to know, and there is no going back. But you don't want to go back, because on this side of the line, you are not a leaf in the wind. You are the wind itself. You are the signal. And when you live from that truth, reality has no choice but to respond. Now, as you go about your day, pay attention to the thoughts running through your mind. Most people believe those thoughts are theirs. They believe they are originating from their own brain. But what if they aren't? What if you are picking up transmissions from the collective field? What if those fearful thoughts are just broadcasts you are intercepting from the old paradigm? When you realize the thoughts aren't yours, reality shifts instantly again. But that is a rabbit hole for another time. That is what we will explore in the next video. Welcome to the other side.